Hey folks, this is Kalani. So, cooking is in an interesting place this expansion, and if Nomi's work is anything to go by, that place is probably a volcano. Cooking kind of sucks this time around, and it's not just one thing, but almost every little piece of cooking is built to frustrate and disappoint. Let's start with Nomi, because he's everyone's favourite chef right now. I would have thought the Archmage, or the High Priest, or the Huntmaster, or whatever your class leader is called, would have access to someone a bit more of an accomplished cook than Nomi. Why don't we have a Gordon Panda, or Philip Lepores, or someone who can manage to not burn everything you throw at them? Not only is our only cook in Dalaran a pyromaniac, pretty much everything to do with progressing cooking comes from his very long, very unrewarding work orders. So not only do we basically get nothing for our materials and time, we don't actually get to do anything either. Some recipes do come from the world and they're probably the most fun to track down and obtain, but when the 2-star and 3-star ranks of those recipes are also locked behind Nomi's black hole of cooking materials, it gets a little frustrating. People have gotten legendaries before their desired cooking recipes. The engineering quest chain was bottlenecked for so long because nobody had the feast recipe yet, that they actually went in and hotfixed the required materials to complete the quest. All in all, it seems like they want the few cooking recipes that they added to last all expansion, or this system is supposed to be completely random, like so many other features of Legion. I just don't think it works well, and it leaves cooking in a really bad place. Personally, I believe the older system worked much better. We'd still have the discoveries, but we would be the ones cooking up grub and discovering the new recipes that way. Having to both wait for a work order to complete and not being able to increase the chance of an actual result is a recipe for frustration. Let us tackle one of these issues. The old system allowed us to take away time. The more you make, the higher chance of you eventually getting the recipe or rank up. It makes so much more sense for the ranks too. You get better and more efficient with cooking recipes when you actually cook them up a lot. You get better with practice, and that's actually how alchemy gets a lot of their rank ups in Legion. They have a chance to get it while crafting that item. If we're stuck with waiting for the work order from Nomi, at least implement some method of increasing the chances of success. Nomi's kitchen is obviously in shambles, or he's just throwing everything into a fire pit. I'm surprised he hasn't burnt down Dalaran yet. So let us upgrade his workspace. I'm sure plenty of knives and swords are going unused in the Broken Isles. Maybe one race or other makes a sharper blade. Supplying such a blade to Nomi could let him easier prepare his ingredients. There's plenty of other bits and pieces we could collect too. Different fuels or flames for the fire to cook in different ways, new storage containers, or we could even gather up some ore and have the blacksmiths create specialty skillets. The chef's area could be another location we can upgrade and make our own. Cooking could be so much more involved even with its current iteration, but instead we're left with starting work orders and coming back every 4 hours, or collecting however many happen to be completed when we're next in Dalaran. The other big problem I have with cooking is the feasts. There's currently 3 feasts in the game, the first being the Reeves Snack Distribution Module, the second being the Hearty Feast, and the last being the Lavish Suramar Feast. Why are all of these feasts more or less worthless? The engineer's contribution from Reeves seems to be versatility only, which is already kind of pitiful without even considering the stat increase number. The cheaper option of our 2 main feasts is the Hearty one, which provides 150 of your favourite stat and requires a few ingredients in the form of food, which provides 225 stats. I understand not wanting a feast to be the best source of your well-fed buff, but to make food which provides you higher stats to create a feast which provides less stats, you may as well just make the 225 food and pass it around. Maybe when Nomi learns to cook and you can actually get your rank 2 or 3 of the Hearty Feast, it may be worth dropping whenever you don't want to eat anything expensive, but 150 stats still seems incredibly low. The Lavish Suramar Feast kicks it up a notch by providing you with 200 of your favourite stat, while consuming food that would provide you with 300 stats in the process. Those 300 stat foods are quite cheap and easy to come by, and the extra 100 stats is definitely worth you bringing your own food for your well-fed buff. The confusing part is that 300 isn't even the highest stat boost you can get. The most expensive food provides 375 of your chosen stat. That means that the best feast is almost half of the best food. Anyone who wants to push themselves has almost no use for feasts, which makes me question why the recipes are locked behind such a hefty time gate. Both feast recipes also require slices of bacon, which only come from cooking world quests and are quite a pretty penny on the auction house. They drive the feast cooking prices way up, making it an expensive endeavour to create them for situations where you wouldn't want to use your 375 food. Either way, it seems there's little reason to be cooking feasts in Legion. I'm hoping we get new recipes to discover that don't come from Nomi in future patches, or some part of the current system is changed to make it more interactive and more fun to engage with. But that's my thoughts on cooking. If you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll try to get back to you. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.